Hey guys, I'm back again for another bump date. I feel so lucky to be able to introduce another one of these videos because if you are a lost mom like I am, sometimes things just don't go the way you planned and you just never really know how long you are going to get to have with your little one. At this point, I am currently 16 weeks on the dot. So I'll cover the last few weeks as they've been going on. And I feel like there's been a lot that's been going on. As of right now, baby is the size of a dill pickle. And the baby's hand, I'll probably just do a screenshot of this, but it does show how big the baby's hand would be right now. And if this is the first bump date you've ever watched of mine, I use a whole bunch of different apps, but where I get my updates from is the app called Ovia. So let's go back. I try to keep track on my notes because I really feel like I have the worst memory possible and I forget stuff. Oh, also you'll probably notice that I'm sitting a little differently. I'm also using my laptop right now because my main camera is almost dead, but then as I'm looking at my battery on the computer, my battery's almost dead too, but this is a lot easier to charge. So filming with my laptop, and I'm also filming in front of a crib. I'll talk about that in just a sec. Going back a couple weeks, I had started to realize that my heartburn probably wasn't just like typical heartburn, it's most likely pregnancy heartburn. And at that point, I found myself getting it every single day, essentially every time after I ate. And I know that if you lay down after you eat, like that can affect you getting heartburn, but it would even happen at work when I'm clearly not laying down after I eat. So that was a little confusing to me. I did get heartburn in my last pregnancy, and I'm pretty sure I still have the medication from that. So the heartburn as of right now really hasn't been that bad at all. So I might call if it gets worse before my next appointment and see if I can just pick up taking that medication again because it did really help. But heartburn has definitely been a thing these past few weeks. Also, a craving that I've had the past couple weeks is apples. And it was to the point where I guess when I had bought apples, I bought 4 of them and I had one every single day. And then when I got to Friday, I was packing my lunch. And when I looked and saw that there were no apples, I could have cried. I didn't. But I was really bummed out because there wasn't an apple. So when I went to the store the next time, I made sure I bought like a really big bag of apples. Pink Lady has specifically been a craving because it's like sweet and tart and it's just really good. Also, over the past couple weeks, we found out the sex of the baby. And I would say it on this video, but I feel like I really want to make my own video. All of my friends and family know at this point. So I really wanted to, do the gender, like old wives' tales video. And if you haven't noticed, am the biggest procrastinator ever, which is why you're seeing these bump dates in like chunks and not week by week. So we didn't do it before we found out the sex of the baby. So you might be thinking, you're really early to know the sex of the baby. How do you know the sex of the baby? What happened was we ended up having the Harmony test done. It tests for Down syndrome, tests for 2 other syndromes as well. I think it was Edwards. You know what? Let me just Google it. I have the internet up. So what they did was they took some samples of my blood, and you can actually find baby's blood in my blood. So not only were they able to get the sex of the baby, that was just like an added bonus. Clearly, the other things are really important as well. And I know that there can be like false positives and false negatives on these tests as well. That is fairly rare, but it can happen. Harmony test tests for Down syndrome, and it also tests for trisomy 18, which is Edwards syndrome, and trisomy 13, which I might say this wrong, is it Fetal? Fetal syndrome? I've never heard of that one before. I had heard of Edwards syndrome before. So it tested all 3 of those, and everything came back as a low probability. So everything came back normal, and we were so thankful for that. I was able to record our reaction, which I'll put in the actual gender reveal video when I post that on YouTube. But you won't see that part in the video because when I answered the phone, I didn't know who it was, first of all. And then she started talking and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, hold on. So she knew I was going to record it. So she was really good about it. And I'm like, okay, let me get a camera up. So she had already told me the results of the other tests, which was great. So you won't see that part, but you will see her telling us the results, which was really cool to have on film. And very emotional. That gender reveal video will probably be coming shortly after I posted this, I would assume. The crib. When we found out the sex of the baby, I immediately went into, okay, let's start putting the nursery together. At that point, I had already shampooed and cleaned the carpet, so that was good. But it was like a blank canvas. And we have like 99% of the things that we need because my baby shower with Connor was actually, gosh, what was that? Like a week or two prior to us losing him. So I had essentially almost everything. So we hadn't started putting the nursery together at that point. When we found out the sex of the baby, it just made it so much more real. And some people might say, like, you're only 16 weeks or whatever. You know, why would you start putting things together so early? Like, don't want to jinx it or like superstitious or whatever, but I can't live my life like that. I can't think like, well, what if this goes wrong or what if that goes wrong, or else I'm going to be anxiety ridden more so than what I already am. So I can't work like that. And like I said, we have everything and it's just sitting there and it's just been driving me nuts. So we put together, and by we, I mean Chris, put together the crib. So that's behind me here. That's our Connor bear in the background there. We actually used our Connor bear, which is the bear from a corporation called Molly Bears. It's in my last video, so if you want more information, you can watch that one. But we used that bear as part of our announcement, so, and I might do that for here too. I don't really know. Anyway, crib is done. The mattress pad is in there. I left it covered in the plastic just because it's going to be a while before we actually use it. So that's still in the plastic. We have the changing table / dresser done. And we have an area rug down. So that's all we have done so far. We do have a recliner on layaway that my mother-in-law put on layaway for us. And we have a couple other things that we can build, but it's just going to slowly start putting things together. Originally, when I was pregnant with Connor, we had like a white, gray, and navy blue theme in mind, but now we will be adding a color. I don't want to tell you too much because I will do a nursery reveal once we get things more done. I don't even think I'll have the chair in here until June, so that won't be here for a little while. But so yes, the nursery we have started piecing together as well. I have an appointment coming up in a couple of weeks. I will be 17 weeks, almost 18 weeks by then. So I think at that, well, I know at that appointment they'll give me the order to go have the anatomy scan done, which I'm really excited about. Oh, I also ordered a fetal Doppler. I woke up the other night with a lot of anxiety. I don't know if I had a dream or what was going on that night, but I woke up with a lot of anxiety and I just ordered one. It was $30 and I have been contemplating getting one. I think it could be really beneficial for like in between appointments. Because I do tend to get the most anxious around there. The other thing I wanted to mention too, I can't believe this wasn't one of the first things I talked about because I didn't write it in my notes, that's why. I think I'm starting to feel movement. When did you guys start feeling movement? Because I'm 16 weeks. I think I've been feeling it for a little while now, like a week or two. Nothing consistent by any means, just like a little flutter here or a little poke there. But I really think I am starting to feel it at least once a day now, and it's very low on my left side. That's where I'm feeling it the most. So it'll come in like little spurts and then it won't happen, and then it'll come in little spurts and it won't happen. So I'm pretty sure that's what I'm feeling. And I think once I start feeling movement on a more consistent basis, I hope that will make me feel better, but I'm actually kind of terrified to start feeling movement because lack of movement is what is going to push me right over the edge. So I'm thinking the fetal Doppler will be a good and a bad thing in a way. I think it'll be good. Baby's getting bigger, so it shouldn't be as hard to find the baby with a Doppler, which is good. So you know, but of course, if there's ever a time where it's taking a while to find the heartbeat, or if for some reason I just don't find one, that's gonna like totally mess with me too. So I know there's positives and negatives to using one, but I did order one. It should be here tomorrow. So I will let you guys know how that went in my next update, and maybe I'll even insert a little bit of footage, and I'm actually really excited to get it. So I'm hoping it'll be a good thing and not just cause me more anxiety. So I think that's all I wanted to say in this update. The next video you will see from me will be the gender reveal video, and once I get that concept done, I'll put that up. I kind of want it to be, even though we already know the gender, I kind of want it to be like a gender wives tales video, and then revealing the gender, and then we'll see if like the wives tales proved true or not. So that video will be up next. I'm hoping to have it up either this weekend or next week. Other than that, I will see you guys in my next bump date. Oh, and I guess I'll go ahead and show you my little bump I got going on here. And there's the bump. So I will see you guys in my next bump date. Bye. Gas. Followed by heartburn. That's the other symptom. Yep, that's the other thing I'm feeling. Probably should have had that light on the whole time. I'm feeling a little large today. Cleavage for days.